Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Harry, and today we are going to learn how to host a static website on AWS using custom domain registered outside Route 53. So, if you want to purchase a cheap domain from any third party provider, you can do that and then follow this video to host your website on AWS. To implement this solution, we are going to take 13 steps. So, this is not a basic implementation of website hosting on AWS, but in fact, it is a method to host a secure static website using multiple AWS services. This video will help you to gain solid understanding and hands-on experience on AWS services, and you will learn how to host a secure website on AWS. This exercise will also help you to prepare for your AWS developer certification. So if you are preparing for that certification, make sure you complete this exercise because it will help you to learn all the AWS services which are highly asked in that certification. Before we move on, please like and subscribe to my channel and please share this video with others. Thank you. Let's move on. So, what we will learn? We will learn how to host a static website and create redirects on Amazon S3 for a website with custom domain name that is registered outside Route 53. This means that you can use any domain that you have purchased outside AWS. You will also learn how to set up a CI/CD pipeline for your website so that you can release code changes to the S3 bucket directly from your own ID. You will learn how to use Amazon CloudFront to improve performance of your website and secure your website with HTTPS connection. And that we will get from Amazon Certificate Manager. So what different we are doing here? Like you might have seen videos on YouTube where people taught about how to host a website on AWS, but this video is little different. It's not exactly similar. This is a very high level advanced video where we are going to cover at least 10 AWS services. And one use case that we will implement in this video, in this exercise, is that we will allow our users to browse our website with a root domain or with a subdomain with www in front of that. So your user can browse your website with example.com or www.example.com, right? And we don't want that any user who are coming with www.example.com should get that website not found or page not found, right? We want them to basically use and see our website. So this is what we will configure in this particular exercise. We will allow our users to use example.com or www.example.com, and for that we will use S3 web hosting with redirect feature, right? And on top of that, we will follow AWS's best practices as closely as possible and build a secure, highly available, resilient, and efficient static website hosting solution. We will use S3, CloudFront, AWS Certificate Manager, Route 53, and developer tools to automate the code integration and delivery. Now let's talk about the solution architecture. So as soon as a developer commits his changes to the main branch within the code commit repository, here you can see that the code pipeline posts the source code repository and triggers the pipeline, and it will run as soon as any change is detected in the repository. The code pipeline, after getting notification for the code commit, the code pipeline will start the code build. Since it's a static hosting site and we really don't have anything to build, we will skip this step. Next, the code pipeline will trigger the AWS code deploy, and the code deploy will deploy the website content on the S3 bucket. Here you can see that we have two S3 bucket, one for the root domain and another one is for the subdomain. We will enable hosting on the root domain, and then we'll add redirect to subdomain in case if someone is coming with subdomain as their starting point to access our website. Here you can see that we are using CloudFront. So this is basically to serve the content globally to the users. CloudFront will leverage its edge locations to deliver content to users based on user proximity. So, for example, if users are in India, then they will be served from edge locations located in India, while the user in North America will be served from edge locations in North America. And all the connections will be encrypted using public SSL certificate. and we will get the public SSL certificate from AWS certificate manager, and then we will configure that to use in our Amazon CloudFront, where we will distribute the content to users using HTTPS line. Also, when the users will browse the website, the request will route to Route 53. We will be using Route 53 to create a public hosted zone for DNS management of our domain. And I think that's it. I hope this clears exactly like what we are going to implement. So let's move on to check like how we are going to implement this architecture in AWS. So to implement this solution, we are going to take 13 steps. Now let's review each step one by one. First is purchase a domain name or use existing domain name. As I said, we are not going to use Route 53 for domain name. We can purchase domain from any registrar, any third party registrar. Wherever you can get cheap domain, you can just go and purchase that. Or in case if you already have a existing domain, then we can use that existing domain for this exercise. We don't really need to purchase a domain from Route 53. Once we will have domain, then we will use that domain to create a public hosted zone, and for that we will use Route 53. Once we have a public hosted zone, we will create S3 bucket. So we need to create two S3 bucket, one for our root domain and one for the subdomain. And fourth step is upload the content to subdomain S3 bucket. So once that configuration will be done, we will then request a certificate from certificate manager, and then we will start creating our CloudFront distribution for subdomain and the root domain, where we will use the SSL certificate that we have issued from the ACM. After we have our CloudFront distribution created for the subdomain and the root domain, we will add entries in our DNS public hosted zone in Route 53 for the CloudFront distributions. We basically need to add some records like the A records in the public hosted zone that we will create for our domain, and then we will test our root domain and subdomain to make sure that we are able to get to the website whenever we try to browse that website URL. For example, example.com or www.example.com should lead us to the homepage of our website. So once this will be set up, then we will create our code pipeline, and for that we will use developer tools in AWS. Then once we will have that CI/CD pipeline created, to make sure that CI/CD pipeline is up and running and releasing our code correctly, we will do a small testing where we will try to make change in our website content or index.html file, and we'll see whether that change goes to a live website just by pushing the change in from our ID and then browsing the website from the browser. So we will do that testing, and after successful testing, we will do the cleanup. So cleanup is really important because we are using few services which could cost some money if we keep them running. So make sure that you watch the video completely and do the cleanup in the end, because that's a really important step. Otherwise, you will not know how you are getting charges on your AWS account. So make sure that you follow step 13 and clean up and delete everything from your AWS account. So that's it. Let's move on to AWS Management Console, and then we will start building this exercise one by one.